What's going on, everybody? Chase with iDub Hockey here with Dayson, Senior Product Manager for True Hockey here at your headquarters in Memphis, Tennessee, with your 9x3 Catalyst glove line in front of us. Now, as always, before we start talking tech and spec that we're going to find throughout all three models, how would you describe the overall fit profile?
Yeah, so this is a tapered glove. It's going to be relatively tight on the back of your fingers, your back of your hand, with a nice, big, wide open cup for you.
And that's what I think is the coolest feature in this 9x3. I used it for quite some time. Just love the overall mobility. How were you able to achieve that?
Yeah, so first of all, we got a 6-piece backhand. So very segmented backhand, lots of flexibility there. 3-piece fingers, and on the ring, the index and the middle finger. 3-piece thumb, so that's our True Flex 3 thumb. 5-piece cuff, so very, very segmented glove. It's gonna give you a lot of flexibility.
And let's dive a little bit more into the cuff because, you know, we're all gear nerds out here, and I really like what you guys did in terms of just the overall construction, not just the feel. So what are a couple key specs that really make that stand out?
Yeah, so we use a 5-piece cuff. So our cuff is actually 5 different segments with a molded piece on the top here. You'll see a lot of the other gloves in the market have one big piece of foam that wraps around, and it just doesn't give you the same comfort and mobility as this 5-segmented cuff goes. You're actually using an Axe suede on the inside of this cuff that really feels really nice, soft, and premium against your wrist.
And then to top it off, you have that flex gusset in there too.
That's right.
Really allow you to, you know, completely move the hands around whenever you're stick handling, you're taking those big shots.
Yeah, absolutely. Complete freedom of movement. The cuff is one of those areas in the glove that's a little bit overlooked. It's very important to have a properly designed cuff to give you the freedom of movement and flexibility.
Now this 9x3, this is the top end pro level glove. So obviously we've talked about comfort already, but in terms of protection, really bring in all the bells and whistles here too. So, you know, we can't see it from here, but in terms of the foam construction, what do we have?
Yeah, so it's really the same foam construction we use at the highest levels in the NHL. So that's the 20mm foam, our 3-piece injection molded thumb. Like I said, it's a lot of injection molded pieces, PE board over the top of most of these segments. Really in the high impact areas, it's going to give you very premium protection.
And then right away, they almost feel broken in. We talked about that off camera. It's almost not fair how great these gloves feel these days. There's no real break-in time. But in terms of the palm construction and the liner, we talked about the Axe suede, but in terms of the actual inside liner and the palm, what do we have? Yeah,
so that's the place we really go with a premium piece. So inside of our 9x3 glove, we've got our air mesh on the top of your backhand. So that's going to give you a little bit more breathability over a traditional liner. The palm itself, this is our Axe suede that we've used for a number of years now. We use it on the base palm as well as the overlay and in the fingertips in our 9x4 glove. This is a 0.9mm material, so very thin. It's stretchable and it's extremely durable at the same time. Very nice product and very nice material that we're using all the way throughout on the 9x4 glove.
And that's one of the big separators between the 7x3 and the 9x3 is the tip gussets here. Maybe if I haven't looked into that before, what does that do for that player looking at the 9x3?
Yeah, so the 9x3 gloves is going to be a little bit more protective with the Axe suede on the fingertips. It's going to allow your fingertips to push through, if you will, and get a little bit more exposed. Where a Lycra gusset, which is on a lot of gloves, including our 7x3 and 5x3 glove, gives you a little bit more flexibility where it lacks in protection as compared to the Nash, or in this case, the Axe suede material.
So maybe a little more protective, but you know, it kind of comes down to personal preference.
It does.
I do really like the Lycra gussets. It just feels so comfortable, again, right out of the box. Only gets better in time. Let's talk about the 7x3 now. Obviously, a lot of great protection, a lot of similar features that we see from the trickle down from the 9x3. Starting with the exterior, because it does look very similar from the outside, and then we'll work our way in.
Yeah, on the outside, really the only difference is that we use a PU leather for aesthetic on the 9x3, where we don't have it here on the 7x3. Outside of that, you still have your 6-piece backhand, you still have your 3-piece fingers, your 5-piece cuff, your 3-piece thumb. Very much so the same glove build as far as the flexibility and mobility goes.
And then last but not least, we have the 5x3. This is maybe for that player getting into competitive hockey, you know, not so much in the learn to play program, but, you know, really starting to get in danger of impact for the top of the hand and just overall. So just from an overall perspective here, what are a couple great features that make the 5x3 stand out against the competition?
Yeah, so it's still a very protective glove. We have our 4-piece backhand on this one versus the 6-piece, and a 2-piece thumb versus a 3-piece, but we still have those same foams, still a 20mm foam, still still leading to a high level of protection. And the one thing I think is very important, even at our 5X, we've still got that 3-piece molded cuff. So you're still going to have a lot of range of motion and flexibility in your wrist.
Perfect, Dayson. Well, as always, thanks so much for having us out here and walking us through the 9X3 glove line.
Thank you.
And for you at home, then check out all of the gloves from True Hockey. Make sure you head over to icewarehouse.com.